Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now a knife that I really enjoy, but quite honestly I just don't go to it quite enough. This here is my custom shop Ratmandu from Swamp Rat Knives. I covered this in a video a long time ago earlier in my channel, and it's a staple in my collection, but for some reason it doesn't get a lot of time in my rotation. And I'm disappointed by that. Bussy Swamp Rat Psycho Knives, a company whose products I should honestly cover much more on my channel, and today I get to correct some of that. So here in this box, the Swamp Rat Bog Runner, which is their newest model at the time of this video. A quick blast, a run of knives has completely sold out, and I did manage to get my hands on a couple of them, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. Bust it out of the package and get a first look and impression. And so when we get back, a look at the Bog Runner. With that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you, and if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now again, here the Bog Runner. This is the knife that I really didn't have tons of intentions on necessarily buying, but you know, I got some buddies who were sending around some text messages and said, hey, you know, look what's about to drop here. And well, it caught my attention. I was like, you know, again, a company whose products I quite frankly should just cover a lot more, and I don't, and that's a little disappointing because, you know, Bussy and Swamp Rat and, you know, the Psycho Knives, absolutely awesome, and well, they just don't get a ton of time on my channel. But that again, I correct here and now with the Bog Runner. And so there were a couple of different options. I got the knife with the penetrator tip. We'll take a look at that in detail. And then the Danny the Bull leather sheath. So there were a couple of different styles. This one here in the black. I do always like a nice simple pouch sheath. So the simple pouch style, deep ride sheath, awesome. Triple riveted, nice and thick, nicely welted, and just awesome stitching. So double stitches here and very nicely done. But as we get into the packaging here, you'll notice just some very simple basics. Nicely protected. And here, well, interesting. So here is the sharpening sheet. So it looks like each one of these coming just with a little sort of factory edge test, and safe and nicely protected. So as we pull this out, the first thing is I'm actually a little bit surprised, not completely surprised, but just a little surprised at the size of the handle. It is actually a little bit smaller than would have sort of originally anticipated, but here the Swamp Rat Bog Runner with what they're calling the penetrator tip. So as you take a look here, not fully sharpened. I actually thought that was going to be a sharpened tip, but it's sort of like an unsharpened swedge. I like that. I like this blade shape quite a bit, different from everything else I have. Now this is a full flat grind, so you'll notice here, full flat grind all the way up to the top of the spine. And this is roughly 3/16 of an inch thick. They're saying 0.18, which is just shy of 3/16 of an inch, which is an awesome stock thickness. It's going to be nice and stout, and especially with this being a full flat grind, it's going to thin out by the time it gets to the back edge of the secondary bevel. So that first primary bevel, full flat grind all the way for the full blade height, and then into that secondary bevel. Now this steel is American made 5100B, which is similar to 52100, which some people call ball bearing steel. I believe it's in some ways similar to a 1095 with a little bit more chromium, which would make it, you know, basically a carbon steel, but with a maybe slightly more corrosion resistant finish. I'm not incredibly sure, and that is just something that, you know, I'm not by any means a steel expert, but I do believe, from what I've come to understand, it's similar in many ways to a 1095. Rockwell hardness 59 to 61. Now a nice overall blade size. You can see here the overall length being 10.1 inches, the actual cutting edge being around 5.5 inches. Awesome stone wash finish, absolutely beautiful, with this black micarta handle scale. The rivets, like we've kind of come to know with most Swamp Rat models, as you can see here on my original Ratman custom shop here. Same exact sort of construction, generally speaking. Basically about the same overall size. And now that I hold these side by side, the handle's actually a little more similar in general size than I had originally thought. A little more shape and sort of sculpting going on here with the Ratman. A little bit less with the Bog Runner, but nice nonetheless. As you take a look inside the scales here, a little bit of traction pattern that is very reminiscent of most Swamp Rat knives. Everything contoured beautifully, very nicely done through the palm area. Now these are just a little slab-sided, which is again something that's not completely out of the norm. As you take a look, set down the knife, it just kind of sits there nice and proud and flat and no problem. And that's also the case here with my Ratman. So again, not a lot in the way of overall palm swell, but a nice general shape, not broomstick style, but kind of in that realm, a little bit more squared off. Feels great in the hand, nicely softened over the top of the spine. Now this again is going to be just a little bit softened if you're into like outdoor woodscraft, bushcraft tasks that might struggle to cause a spark or scrape on things, making that, fuzz, or, scraping on some fat wood or something like that. But I could see this being a nice little camp knife. In fact, for me, this is going to be an incredible food prep knife. This will absolutely make its way into my kitchen. Now, as we take a look at it next to the sheath, inserting it in. Now this will have a little bit of a break-in period, but this looking beautiful. Nice overall retention, nice and firm and sturdy, no problem there. These rivets, gorgeous. This is a beautiful sheath, a little overbuilt for what it needs to be, but at the same time, just awesome. And I'm actually pumped to have this sheath for a couple of reasons. I really am sort of lacking a quality leather sheath that's nondescript with no markings in this blade size class. I always struggled to carry my Ratman, and at this point, that's going to fit in here beautifully. I have tons of other knives in the same blade size class that could really use itself a quality ride. So this is going to be awesome. I absolutely love it. And so all in all, a really cool knife from Swamp Rat. Just a first look and impression here of the Bog Runner. And so again, keep in mind there were a couple of different models. This one here with what they're calling the penetrator tip. Just really, really cool. A neat blade, and I'm absolutely pumped to have a new Swamp Rat in my hands. Not just a new knife, but a brand new model. This is something that I don't do often. I had to kind of treat myself to this. I feel as though sometimes I just deserve myself a nice new blade in the hand, and I am absolutely thrilled it's a Swamp Rat. And so from what I can tell at this point, these are pretty much sold out at the time of this video. You're going to have to take a look at their website. Keep an eye out maybe on the secondary market if you're interested in one of these. But all in all, again today, just a first look and impression. A gorgeous package all the way around with that sheath. Absolutely awesome. And I, again, am thrilled. So thank you guys for following along. If you like this content, do me a favor. Take a look at my Outer Limitless 2 channel, which is more on the tactical and firearm side of things. At this point, that channel is growing quickly. I have a ton of videos up there. So if you like what you see here on Outer Limitless, do me a favor and check me out on Outer Limitless 2. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.